Dr. Renuka Devi, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am? Renuka, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shall I start,
Ma'am,
ma'am? Okay, ma'am.
yeah, you shall proceed, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Good morning to everyone. I'm so happy to introduce the revered and distinguished guest, Dr. Nanda Kumar, Associate Professor of Computer Science in YMMAT Group of Institutions, Bangalore. He has made a travel in many incredible places for rendering services. He started his higher education in Kungu Arts and Science College, Erode. He studied MCA in Jerusalem College of Engineering, Chennai. He touched his research studies in Government Arts College, Udumalpet. I am so proud to say that he has received his MBA degree very proudly in Alhappa University. His career begins from VLB Janaki Ammal College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. It is extended in Dr. NGP Arts and Science College, Christ University, Bangalore, and Srinivasa University, Presidency College, and now at Chanakya University as Associate Professor. He designed the curriculum for BSc, BCA, MCA, and MSc programs. He has been the member of Admission Committee, Board of Studies, Board of Examiners, the Exams Ethics Committee, Question Paper Setter, and the External Examiner for PhD program. He produced 6 PhD scholars and more than 25 papers has been published by Dr. Nandakumar, such as computational biology meets swarm intelligence implementations for supply chain management and assessment of the employees' work-life balance during COVID-19 pandemic on artificial neural network approach, and then an intelligent cloud assistance for healthcare sectors, an imperial survey on happiness and health among work from home employees beginning to IT sectors, survival study on research utilization and task scheduling in cloud, impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the automobile industry, and such on. And let us have a shine on this beautiful session. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I welcome you most, sir.
Good morning to one and all present here. Thank you very much for the nice introduction, ma'am. Thank you.
Hearty welcome, Nandakumar sir. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
So, shall I start sharing my PPT?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Sir, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you are presenting, sir. Your screen is visible. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
So, once again, good morning to one and all present here. So, our today's topic is AI tools for research and teaching. And before getting into our topic, we should know something about the AI technology. So what is happening behind the screen? So for example, if we do some chat GPT or some online marketing applications, we would be wondering how it is happening, what is going on. So like that, we may have several questions. But there are a lot of technologies involved behind every application which is powered by AI. So shortly, we used the term AI instead of artificial intelligence always. So in fact, there are four major domains working behind every AI technology. Primarily, probability and statistical methods are used, random numbers, regression analysis, correlation analysis, like all the fundamental and data exploratory methods from the field of probability and statistics are being used. So makes the one quarter of the AI technology. The another quarter is another 25 to 30% contribution is coming from mathematics. There are multi-criteria decision-making algorithms, like many mathematical algorithms, statistical algorithms are used, approaches are used. And only 30% of contribution is from pure computer science in the form of machine learning. And in addition to all these three components, there are these three are approaches, internal approaches to achieve the concept AI. But in addition to this, the most important thing is domain knowledge. Domain knowledge in the sense, if we create a AI application for a particular field, the fundamental concepts of those fields should be connected with these three components, namely mathematics, statistics, and all. So then only we can create a knowledge. So it is fully a data-driven approach. That means entire decision, learning, everything happens based on the data, large amount of data, what you produce to the software. That is a machine learning software. Okay, so these are all individual fields. We can talk for a number of days, that much concepts are there. But as a end user, we are all, if we are not directly connected with any technology, in our language we call them as end user. As a end user, we should know little bit about the background. So what are all connected with these applications, AI based applications. So the contribution of these three science domains are there. So with this, I start our original topic, AI tools for research. There are plenty of research tools. Mainly, they are used for various steps in our academic research. Right from the literature survey, we can use these tools for every step. For example, these three AI applications are very famous for writing the papers. GenAI, Yomu, Unriddle, these three are very mostly used AI enabled tool. So here, one important thing is when we use this AI tool, we should communicate with the tool in a proper way. Before the invention of this AI based to search engines or tools, we were depending only on Google and other search engines. So in those search engines, we used to give lot of keywords. Based on the keywords, we used to get the output. For example, if I give William Wordsworth poems, it will display lot of links as a result, search results that will match the keyword William Wordsworth
உப்பு
poems
செய்வாங்க
with the
சாம்பார்ல
database attached with that search
போட்டுக்கோங்க.
engine. It will produce the output. But the matching, the accuracy of results, we might have expected something from the search engine. So we would have passed some keywords. We may be getting relevant answers or relevant search results. But here, the minute technique is how do we frame that keyword? That is what most important thing. For example, if you give generic words, it will produce you generic output only. So these AI tools are full and fully data driven technologies. So before creating this software, we have to do machine learning for those AI softwares. During that machine learning, we have to give large quantity of very large quantity of data for the practice of that algorithm. So at the end of this practice, the software will start imitating the human intelligence. So this is the working principle of any AI technology, any machine learning technology. So what it does is it is imitating the human intelligence. Okay. So when we do a research, when we do a research project, research is not a single activity. It consists of sequence of activities. So here I have listed out some frequently used tools, and it is up to you to experiment every tool, and you can decide which is convenient to you. Why I am telling means, as I said, in the field of machine learning, we are fully depending on the data, training data. So there are two type of data we have to give to every machine learning software or AI software. So first, large quantity of data will be used to train the softwares. We can use the word software or model or algorithm or application, whatever it is, to make them to emit the human being, to make them to think like a human being. We have to train them properly. So what type of data we use to train them? So based on that, the efficiency and accuracy of the results will be okay. So we cannot say the particular software is better than others. This is the best one for generating content. This is the best one for writing the thesis. Like that, we cannot say any software, because there is a big business behind every software. They are competing with others. So this is also a commercial field based on technology development. So it is the user's responsibility to experiment every tool and to utilize them according to their need. So there are some category frequently used for research. Uh, we have classified them into 4-5 categories. This first three, there are some more thing also, but these three are very famous. Jenny, Yomo, and Unriddle. These three tools are softwares are used for writing the paper. So then it will not write just uh, after receiving your title. You have to do a lot of internal steps, that is called prompt engineering. So that is how that is why I started with that Google example. When we give some keyword in Google, we call it as search word or search keyword. But when you do the same process, same thing in any AI based tool, it is called prompt. For example, in ChatGPT, if you give some word for searching or to generate any content, that keyword or that input you enter is called prompt. The accuracy of the result will be based on the finiteness of your prompt. So because of these approaches, there is a new concept evolved called prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is a small concept, but it is important to utilize AI based softwares in an efficient way. Then normally we came to know about this chat gpt because the nature of the content generation it has produced. So majority of the softwares, AI based softwares in the field of research is used for content generation. So in our technology field we call it as generative AI, because the generative AI is the backbone of these softwares. That is a technology, generic term for that technology. The famous one is chat gpt, everybody knows, and Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. These three are in the um, uh, front line of this type of softwares. And the way last week we came to know, or we would have you would have read that in newspapers that China has released a new generative AI tool called DeepSeek. It has shaken the share market of America, like that. Some news you would have come across. Okay, so now it is overtaking all the remaining three, like such as Chat GPT, Google Gemini, and Copilot, and all. So the similarity among these set of softwares for generative AI is they are able to generate content according to your prompt is nothing but the keyword what you give as an input. Based on that, these are able to create the content. So what type of content they can develop or they can generate, so that also you have to mention. So I have demonstrated some example, some activities in these tools. I have taken screenshot for our understanding. I will present little later. Then these two varieties of AI tools are very famous among researchers, because researchers take more time to generate the content. That means writing part is very important and crucial. It consumes more time. So they started using many of these AI tools for their writing purpose. Then there are some small task specific softwares also which are powered by AI. There is a software called Paperpal. that is mainly used for copy editing and proofreading. So it is another way we can say it is a language based tool. And there are softwares for citations also. There you can find two varieties of softwares that Mendeley, footnotes, endnotes. There are tools like that. They are not AI enabled. They are generic softwares for using citations. When we have downloaded our literature, for example, I am going through 200 papers for my research. I can upload all those 200 papers in that software, and whenever I want to cite in between my document, I can do that within few steps. In that way, those softwares are useful. They are automated version of the manual work. But there is a difference between the generic softwares for citation and um, smart citation softwares. Whenever we use the word smart, it indicates the usage of artificial intelligence and machine learning in the technology. So this site, SCITE, this site is very famous software for citing the works. This that the citation style also different from domain to domain. So in the field of computer science and the engineering domains, we use IEEE format. In language domains, they may use MLA format. In social science and psychology, they will use APA format, like that. So these softwares will be used, can be used for effective citation, and they are able to sense your domain, and accordingly it will adjust its citation style and all. So these are all very specific one in terms of research, because there is no single software which is applicable to all the steps of the research. So normally the research process starts with the collecting the papers, searching and collecting the literature, and reviewing the literature, finding the research gap, and deciding the methodology or designing the research method. Like that, we have several steps, and we have report writing, and we have visualization of results. Like that, 5 6 steps or major steps are there, and there is no single software which helps for all these steps. For every step we have to use one or two softwares. So that is how these technologies are used. And there is a software called Lateral. This software's specialty is it will help you to find the themes across the papers. For example, if you have downloaded 100 papers, uh, you can download the papers from other websites, and you can connect that with this software also. Um, you can find the themes. It will find out the similarity and dissimilarity among those papers in terms of content, core content. So then we can reduce our time for reading all those paper fully. So that is how this software is reducing our reading time. And mainly for literature review, as a researcher we need to spend a lot of months, weeks, and all. Research Rabbit and Connected Papers, these two softwares are very famous. And one thing I want to tell here, so all these softwares are available through the websites. For example, they are not standalone softwares. They are web services. Web services in the sense you can utilize those softwares through their websites. Most of them are paid softwares. You need to subscribe, you have to register yourself as a user, and you have to pay. Monthly payment is there, and you have to utilize their resources. Again, the difference among all these softwares within every category is the amount and the quality of the data they used to create that software. For example, in ChatGPT is a generative software. So it generates some content based on your prompt, what you entered. For that, it will process crores of files and content from crores of websites before generating the content. So it will search for the same keyword and relevant keywords from all those data resources, and it will try to summarize that content. So here the success rate or the accuracy of that content is based on the amount and quality of the data it referred to. So that is the main thing behind every software. So there only the difference in the performance of every software differs from each other. So in the another category, the set of softwares are called sorry, this elicit, size, space, dimensions, connected papers, insightful, lit maps, and research rabbit. These are most frequently used for literature review. So here again, literature review, we can also upload some papers and do literature review, or directly you can give, you can initiate a literature review in a particular theme. So when it will gather the resources in that theme or keyword, then it will produce the review paper or review content. And there are some issues behind every software. I will explain that little later. So the first variety of software is for writing purpose. The category, these set of softwares are used for exclusively for writing. Some softwares are exclusively for generating the content. Some set of softwares are for citations, some set of softwares are for proofreading, copy editing, and there are few softwares for finding the themes and research gaps. This particularly lateral is the software. By using this, you can find the gaps, research gaps in your domain. So again, the input is very important. How do you search? If you give the keyword recent trends in English literature, recent trend in human resource management, like that, if you give generic keywords, it will produce you generic content only. So to find out the themes and keywords or research gaps, we have to give our keyword in a proper way. So that is there we need practice as an end user. And this literature review softwares are very famous. Among them, many of the Western researchers also used this connected papers and research rabbits. These two softwares have got attention from more number of researchers. So if you want to experiment something at the end of the day, under the writing category, you can use Jenny AI software. For generating the content, you can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Microsoft Copilot. And the latest one is DeepSeek. These four have the major market share in the field of generative AI tools, because behind these every software there are huge business, and they are trying to occupy the market in the technology world. So there are a lot of things related to economics, politics, and business behind the usage of every tool. So most of those concepts are debatable. Okay, so for our intention is how far we can use this software for our research. There are pros and cons also. At the end of the session, I will list out all those things. Then you can decide whether you want to use this or not. Okay, so this among this literature review and content generation is the bigger task. For that we can try these softwares, and I will reveal my personal opinion at the end of the session, because as a technology person I have to explain all these softwares, but individual I have my own opinion and all. Okay, so before starting our research in a particular problem, so our intention will be, or our initiation will be like this: searching for research problems. That is how all the beginners in the field of research will start their research journey. So how do we search? As a postgraduate, when we join for MPhil or PhD, we won't have any concrete idea about a research problem. And research methodology and research problems are different from domain to domain. In some domains only exploratory analysis is possible. In some domains like science and technology, practical implementation are possible. In some domains only theoretical implications are possible. Okay, anyhow, we will search for recent trends in the research. What are the latest areas people are working into? Like that, we have to search for this. If so far we are using this Google, Yahoo, Bingo. There are 5, 6 search engines. Most of us are using Google only. Okay, so these search engines will produce the results based on a mechanism called search engine mechanism. That search engine is a separate field of study under computer applications. Again, there a lot of technological concepts are involved, but again it is finding those things results based on the matching of keyword. Mainly it is looking for match between the content it is connected with and the keyword. But now we have got a list of AI powered search engines, so it can sense the context also little bit. Whenever we say recent trends, for example, if it is a Google regular search engine, wherever the keyword recent trends comes, it will include that data also to produce the search result. For example, in 1970s also they could have published some books or articles with the title recent trends, that will include that also. But when you go to AI based things, it may understand by itself recent trends means last 5 years or last 10 years or recent decade, 1 or 2 decades, like that it may understand based on your keyword. So here a handful of search engines are available. Site Assistant, Consensus, Semantic Scholar, Synapse, Lumina, Evidence Hunt, System Pro, The Literature, Search Smart, OpenRead, Sourcely, Undermine, Open Scholar, Storm. So these are most frequently used search engines. Among these, very famous, preferred by n number of researcher is Consensus. I have done some small activities in Consensus. We will see that. So here, so this is the website of the Consensus tool, consensus.app. So it is a web application. Okay, we have to open this address in any browser we can open and use. I have given a keyword, search word. You can give it in a word format. Word means single word, maybe a single word, or it can be a research question. Or so this is how you have to frame your search word here. So I have searched for a answer for a question, how to reduce body weight without exercise and diet control. This may be a research problem for those who are working in food science and nutrition. So initially this Consensus app gives its own conclusion and ideas before giving the what is that literature. Okay, so it has, based on that, it has generated this content, and there are some subtitles like mindful eating, plant-based diets, low fat diets, and hormonal and metabolic consideration. Then it has given its own conclusion also. So this result is not ended with this paragraph itself. If it is a lengthy result, search result, further to this explanation, this Consensus has produced some results in the form of literature. So it has taken some papers from the database which is closely related to my question. So along with that content, it gives the exact title of the paper, the year of publication, number of citation up to the date, and the author's name, list of authors or author name, and in which journal it got published. So these basic details are provided by the Consensus. Okay, so the first one is exercise without weight loss is an effective strategy for obesity reduction in obese individuals with and without type 2 diabetes. So this is the paper published in 2005. Why it is considered here by this software is it has more number of citation. It has 329 citations. So this is considered by this software. So when you use the AI tools for research, how do we give importance for a paper in literature? In the same way that software also trained. So it will consider the particular work, particular article or paper in terms of its attributes such as citations, the reputation of the author, the reputation of journal, like that. It will take some metrics in order to consider that particular work. So then it considers this work may be useful to my question, so it is published. The same way it published more than 20 papers. Since I am showing this for a sample purpose, I have taken screenshots of some few results only. So first paper is this one, 329 citation. The second paper is a paper published during 2004. So it has considered last 20 years literature to answer my question. So this paper have more than 100 citations mainly. The second paper has 700 plus citation. Third paper has around 100 citation. Like that, it produced top 10 papers according to my question. So this is how most of these AI tools will look like. It will show you some text box in the form of this Google search box. That is a text box where we can enter our question or keyword or any term. Then it will be searched in the database of that specific software. So some software will generate the summary like this along with the literature. Some software will produce you list of papers along with other details. And ChatGPT can do multiple things since it is generative search engine. It is search engine also and generative AI also. And according to your question, if you ask list out the most cited papers in Indian English literature, then it will display the list of papers. Or if you search, if you give the keyword summarize the any of the Shakespeare's drama, it will give you one page content like that. Okay, so this is how all these softwares are working except this what is that copy editing and proofreading software. Okay, so here the question is how for the accuracy of this result, can we take these results as a final one? So this is a debatable point. Can I take the summary given by the software as a final one? Can I take the citations or literature listed by the software as the final list of resources or final list of literature? How far we can believe these results? So these are all some fundamental questions we have to answer before utilizing these softwares for our research. Okay, so the continue that can be discussed a bit later, because the one more part is there in the same topic. Can we use these AI tools for teaching? Definitely we can use, because most of the AI tools used in teaching is also used in research. It is vice versa also. And we normally use chat gpt for various demonstration purpose. Since we are all studying bca and mca, we will be studying the method of creating such softwares. But to understand the software, we will show the demonstration of all these softwares. Okay, now we can discuss two softwares, chat gpt and another one is openart ai. This OpenArt AI is used for creating images according to your description. First, this chat GPT, you can try in different way. Simply, I gave the task to this software: create a PowerPoint presentation on the topic AI tools for research. If it is a registered user, you can create a slides PPT file also, but without logging in, I tried something. So it gave me the instruction like this. I have the first slide like this: give the title, give the subtitle, write your name and date. Like that, it has given me the hints to create every slide. For that, it gave me clues for 15 slides. Okay, so but I have shown here only in 2-3 slides only, because this is how the content will be generated. And if your search word is very generic, it will give you very generic content only. For example, here my search word is create a PowerPoint presentation on the topic AI tools for research. So it has included all the AI tools. Why means, what we understood is, for every research techniques we need to use AI tools. Like that, which are the tools available, we are looking for such kind of tools. Like that, we our understanding. But this GPT understood that which are the tools related with all type of research. It has listed out. Most of the software listed in the slide 4 is data mining software and IoT software, because they are the fields of machine learning and AI. These softwares are used by those computer scientists, not by the generic researchers or common researchers. So that is how the understanding of the software will be different from our intention and our expectation. So that we have to do some practice to get familiarity with the prompt engineering. Prompt, how to create the prompt. This keyword is called a prompt. In this search box, whatever you type, that is called a prompt. Here the prompt is create a PowerPoint presentation on the topic AI is the prompt. Like that, in every software you can enter some words, that is called a prompt. Here in this consensus, how to reduce body weight is the prompt. So the prompt plays vital role in getting the relevant output in all this software. And there are a lot of side effects also in these software, so I will tell you when to use, when we can avoid this. So this is how ChatGPT works. And this OpenArt is AI enabled or AI powered media software. By using this, you can create images for research purpose also, for teaching purpose also. And so here the prompt is given like this: a dog is jumping from aeroplane. This is the prompt I gave. And here also we need to pay something to get full features of this software. Otherwise it will give some basic facility only. So here you have the control of creating number of images. You can create videos also, and all those things are artificial, we have to remember. For example, here I have mentioned a dog is jumping from aeroplane. So this is the clue I gave to this software to create the image. So it has produced 4 images with the dog. So since it is mentioned as jumping from aeroplane, what I meant is there should be a aeroplane flying from the door. A dog has to jump. Like that I imagined a scene. But in the first diagram, how it is created, like a glider kind of device is attached with the on the back of the dog, like a school bag. It is simply jumping. So one thing is, the first time dog is jumping is done perfectly. The second half of the prompt is not so accurate. So in all the 4 images, the dog is jumping. It has used the image of same dog, and in different angles it is jumping. This is how the OpenArt is producing the images. So all these are artificial images. If you give a prompt like Rajinikanth is drinking coffee, like that, if you give a prompt, it will take the Rajinikanth pictures from database and it will take the coffee cup and from other ads and photographs, it will create a new image like this. So in the second attempt, I gave another prompt to this software. A student is afraid of a teacher, like that I gave. So it has produced two images like this. In one image, a boy is sitting and writing something. In another image, a girl is sitting without any clue. In the both the images, the person standing next to the student is considered as a teacher. Okay, so this is how all these AI based softwares are working. And if you know the secret of this working, most of the time we will not use this software. So that is what my opinion. Okay, so when non-technological people use these softwares, they think these are all very genuine, and it is like magic kind of thing, it is a miracle, like that they are overwhelmed of these generation of the content. But in fact, there are a lot of loopholes behind the content generation. Since these the examples are very simple, we can accept this image as it is. So randomly I gave a dog is jumping, it produced this uh, picture, it is okay for me. But when you do your PhD research or any other research project, very important research work, every research work is very important. So that should be a genuine one, and the outcome should be a reliable one. In such context, if you use this knowingly or unknowingly, we may face a lot of troubles. So using these softwares are very, very easy. You need no prior training to use any of these softwares. If you type the keyword AI tools for research in Google, it will definitely list out all these softwares what I have listed here. But to use this, you have no knowledge. Like if you want to use MS Office, Tally, like any other softwares, you need little knowledge and skill in computer usage. But for this, it is like yet another browsing a website. So every software is connected with a website. You will have a website link, and you will have a search box like this. Then you can type your question, you will get some output like this. You may be happy about that. If you are a beginner, definitely you will be happy about your result what you got through website. But if you are a experienced researcher, then only you will realize the efficiency of these tools. Okay, so now I am going to list out the very important problems behind these tools. First one, the AI systems. Any AI or machine learning method, algorithm, software, tool, model are not so accurate. They are only 50 to 60% accurate, and there is a big scope, a larger possibility for errors and biases. Okay, so errors is in the general computing. If it is giving wrong and output, wrong result, that is called error. And whenever you use the word AI, whenever you use the technology AI, a new kind of error will be involved, that is called bias. So in our day-to-day language, the bias can be equated with the term discrimination. For example, in a classroom, two set of students are there. First set of students are from English medium school. The second set of students are from Tamil medium school or any other regional language background. So whenever the English teacher comes, he or she may think, I am not telling about every teacher, but simply I am assuming, and this is a imaginary example you can take. So they may think that English medium students will be better in terms of grammar knowledge of grammar, and those who are studied in mother tongue, they are not so good in English grammar. Like that, they may have the opinion. In the same way, if it is a college in metro city, one set of students are from the same city, another set of students are from rural background. So the teacher or the person or the interviewer may think that those who are from metro background, they may be good in technology. Those who are from rural side or village side, they may not be good in technology. Like that, they may have the opinion. So this intuition or prejudiced idea, judgmental thing, can influence their decision making, which are related to those students. When they practice that without validating the actual efficiency of these students, it is called discrimination. Okay, so when such things are happened in AI systems, it is called bias, because the AI is it does mimicry. Actually, it imitates the human intelligence. And to train the software, what type of data we use, there are a lot of things about the data, reliability of the data, quality of the data. And there the data should be free from any biases. Here I want to mention a example for this. In America, they were using a software called Compass in the courts of America. So that Compass software is AI enabled one. uh, they will feed the case history and hearing details of hearing with this software. It is a AI software only. So at the end of the hearing, when the judge is writing the judgment, they will tell that software also to write the judgment. So the human judges will be there, and that like a third umpire, this AI tool will also write the judgment. Then they will compare the human judgment and that AI based judgment. Then they will make the final judgment. So 10 more than 10 years they were using this. So but one France company analyzed these judgments produced by the AI software, and it found some many problems with that software. The main problem was that it has lot of biases against to African people, those who are from African country, or if they have their origin or somehow they are related to African countries, means that software, um, it has suggested uh, more punishment for those people. So like that, it is a very big case, big issue happened in America. You can search that in Wikipedia also. COMPAS, Compass, that is the software term. So why I am mentioning this, that is the best example for biases produced by AI systems. In the same way, all these AI tools are not free from biases. There could be a lot of biases. As an end user, you will not be able to find whether it is producing that result, producing that content without bias or with bias. And if it is with bias, what is the degree of bias? Like that, many things you will not be able to find. So there are special softwares being developed to find the bias in every AI system also, but it is in research level only. Still, it is not commercialized. And another challenge is these AI tools cannot perfectly replicate the human intelligence. Okay, the main thing is human insight is missing, because if you have used chat gpt for 5 times, you will understand again and again that contents are produced in different style, but they are not deeper content. They are just a combination and permutation of generic content only. That nature you will understand very quickly. And all these softwares are depending on the data quality. We have certainly we have no idea about what data they are using to train those softwares. Before releasing the software, they will train the software to imitate the human being, but somehow we get some result. Whenever you give some keyword, it will produce some result, but we think that as an end user, we may think that okay, this output is produced by computer, produced by software like MS Office, other software, accounting software. This result is also correct, like that we may assume, but that is not. There is a chance 50-50 only. We cannot fully believe those content. For example, as a human researcher, if you search the individual databases of every domain, and if you go through, spend 1 month, 1.5 month to go through the last 20 years articles, papers, you will have your own understanding and you will come to know lot of things. But if you search a keyword in AI tools, it will give you some ready-made content and output. Your search will stop there only, you will not learn beyond that. For example, when we were students, we had the habit of using packet dictionary during our school days. Whenever we come across a new word, we search those new words in the dictionary. While flipping the pages of dictionary, we will see many more new words. Some words will attract us. We will stop over there and we will read the meaning of that. Then we will continue the searching to find out the first word. So that is how, when you do that manually in dictionary, instead of learning the meaning of one word, you will learn 4 5 new words with the proper meaning. That is how that manual searching was helping us to learn the language in a better way. But if you type the word nowadays, like students, if you type the words in Google, it will give you the meaning of the word you searched. So your searching will be ended with a single word. If you do that manually, you will learn more than one word. But when you use the technology, since technology is giving instant solution, you will learn only one word. That is how some practical um, disadvantages are there with every technology. And there is a lot of scope for misuse of the data and privacy related issues with all these AI tools. We think that AI softwares are always perfect and they are using all the data in a legal way. No. For example, Google also has its own software for content generation. Um, this one, Microsoft Copilot. Okay, wherever the Microsoft softwares are there, when you use that, that data will be captured. For example, here in these examples, I have typed the question how to reduce body weight, and in ChatGPT I have searched for some keywords or content. So including this, it will store everything. It will use the information to train those algorithms and software. So wherever you provide your data in the internet space, like emails, social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you store, you handle some data, all those history and content will be stored in those servers of those uh, technology people. They are utilizing all those data to train the software. So all these AI softwares are outcome of machine learning. During the machine learning phase, they would have fed that software with a lot of training data. Those data are collected from different databases with permission as well as without permission of concerned people. So this is how it is working. The working style of all AI softwares are same, and only little bit technology is different. The principle is same. Huge quantity of data will be utilized to train that software. Okay, so there definitely the misuse of data will be there, breaching of privacy will be there, and we may not come to know all these. So that is how these outputs and results produced by AI tools are not always reliable. In generic question, if you ask a textbook questions, advantages of so and so technology, disadvantages of so and so technology, if you search answer for these type of question, it will produce exact answer because all textbook content are stored in the database of these softwares. But if you ask a tricky questions, very new and specific uncomprehensible question, if you create and search, it will not give result as per your expectation. Again, it will try to manage with generic content only. So these are all the major limitations and challenges uh, in AI field, and implementing all this technology involves with a huge amount of cost. Then why companies are investing this amount of money to invent, to develop these type of software is There are business, commercial activities are going on behind every software. So these softwares are able to bring billions of dollars as a profit. So that is why companies are behind this. They are making us to use all these technology whether we need it or not. And regulations and legal guidelines are not so perfect in many countries in terms of AI usage. So because of that, lot of issues, ethical issues are there behind every software. So there are many researchers doing research of these AI tools also parallelly. So with these difficulties only, we are still using all these because they do such amount of marketing and sales strategy to try. At least once we would have tried all these softwares. That is how they are being marketed in everywhere, in every internet space and platforms. And there are major misconceptions about artificial intelligence from non-computer non from the people, those who are not connected directly with field of computer science. People think that artificial intelligence is always right and accurate because it is produced by computer. This is a big misconception. And AI can think like a human. This is also misconception because we say it is artificial intelligence, it can imitate human being, but in fact the accuracy of imitation or mimicking the human being is just 3 to 4 percentage only achieved. So 96 percentage human intelligence is not replicable, not imitatable. So this AI is still in infant stage in the world. Still, people are working. So it is not fully developed. It is not perfectly grown technology. Still, it is in the beginning years. But because of commercial reasons, companies are propagating these technologies, and we believe that AI can do all jobs and every job can be replaced by AI technology. That is another misconception. And if you use some of these softwares for your research, and after some time you will get irritated, you will come to know that AI cannot do better things than human being. You will understand after some time, because whenever we introduce a new technology, we new software or new method, people will run behind that. 2 years back when they introduced chat gpt, people were talking about chat gpt everywhere, in tea shops, bakery, in trains, chat gpt, like that they were talking. But you take a 5 4 research question from your own domain, perfectly frame the question or prompt, you search that how does the AI react for that. If your problem is very generic, it will give you the perfect output. If it is very exclusive and very much specific and peculiar, it cannot do anything. So from that you can understand it is taking the content from general textbooks, softwares, other type of reports, documents. These things you can understand, you will come to know. And AI is not always unbiased. There is a bias in every AI application. And so it we can, in terms of percentage, if we measure the reliability of AI, it is only 60% unbiased. So there is remaining 40% bias cannot be removed. So that means whatever result you get, you can believe it only for 60%. If it tells 10 points, only 5 to 6 points are correct, remaining 4 points may be wrong. So this is the measurement metric we have to understand. So this, there are different kind of bias also. Here, for due to time constraint, I explained only about the basic concept of bias. When we study that deeper, there are technical bias, human bias, content based bias, like that many biases are there. We cannot remove completely certain type of biases, it will be there forever. So we have to keep all these points in mind when we use the tool for our research. So with this, I stop my presentation. If you have any queries, please let me know, we will discuss. Thank you for patient listening.
Good morning,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Yeah, you may ask your query, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for this informative session. Sir, first I want to clearly know how plagiarism actually work when we use AI, either in thesis or research in general. For example, in literature review, Research Rabbit or Elicit, it generates content for me. Can I use those reviews directly without making any alteration in the content, or without whether can I put that directly into my research? Will it cause any plagiarism? I have the same doubt with Jenny AI, whether the content created by that, can I use that content into my research directly? Because today we have a new kind of plagiarism called AI plagiarism. When I use those content directly into my research, will it lead me to plagiarism? Or if I make some changes in the content after getting those from Jenny AI or Research Rabbit, whether that works?
Okay, so very important question. When we write the review, normally we used to paraphrase the original content. So there, as a researcher, we should have some minimum level of language skill also that is expected. But as a human being, whenever we reproduce something what we read, unintentionally we may use the same phrase or statements from the source where we got the information. So that is usual thing. That is why we have to refine the content of literature review multiple times. Some when you go for plagiarism checking in any university, and they will not count the generic terms, definitions, and statements given within double quotes and all. But we have to put little bit effort to write the same content in our own words. And and in certain domains we cannot rewrite in a new way fully. We have to stick with a certain style also. For example, in social science and all, they will use the term significance, significant difference between. This term will be used in all hypothesis testing. So they will use this term at least for 200 times in every thesis. So this will produce a reasonable amount of plagiarism. Okay, so in the this is the main primary problem all the beginners face this. But once you do this manually for 4 5 times, you will understand how to write plagiarism free content. So what is a plagiarism? Using the idea or the statement as it is from the source, without quoting their name, that is without citing that. Where if you write with the same words, same definition, that is a plagiarism. When we rewrite, we have to understand, grasp the content, and we have to write, we have to try to replace some of the words. So this is how we can try. And for that we need a lot of patience and practice also. But since now technology is available everywhere, 20 years back and all, internet was the biggest technology. Searching in internet was the biggest feature. These type of databases were not available that time. So people had a lot of time to write, and they were ready to spend a lot of time also. But now everyone wants to get the results within few days. So when you go to this Jenny kind of AI software, what does the software do is, it will do the permutations and combinations of the words. So it will use the thesaurus, the dictionary, along with that domain and key based keywords, and it will try to reproduce. I have experimented with some of these things. These softwares will can create the plagiarism free content. But what is the role of human being in writing the content? As a researcher, we have to search for literature, research problem. We have to read all the available literature. That is the primary job of every literature, every researcher. So without reading the literature, we cannot have the research knowledge. So if we use software for everything, then what is the primary role of a software? So for research problem finding also we use software. For writing the content also we use software. For literature review also software. For language editing also software. As a PhD scholar, we should be good enough, at least some certain level of English knowledge is required. We should be good enough in writing English without errors. That is also expected. So for that also we use Grammarly kind of thing. So we don't know spelling, grammar, but we are able to produce quality research content. And there are softwares to find the themes and research gaps. So finding the research gap is the outcome of logical thinking and reasoning skill of every human being. Unfortunately, we are giving this task to software. So until writing the final thesis, we give all the responsibility to the software. Then what is the role of human being here? That is a big question mark. But to your question, to specific, what I tell is all content generated by AI is simply based on permutation, combination, and probability theory. Okay, if particular style of statement is producing plagiarism, it will shuffle the words and it will change the grammar style. But you cannot do this for every context, because the softwares will not understand the context, because a context is a intangible thing. For example, it may use different words for the same word. From thesaurus it may replace the word, but that replaced word may not be suitable for the context. It may reduce the plagiarism, but it will not convey the proper meaning or point what we intended to convey. So that will be missing. And everywhere people started using these AI tools for class assignment, to write the research paper, conference paper, to write the thesis also. So these softwares are created by some companies. The same companies or their sister concerns will create the plagiarism detection software, as well as plagiarism correction software also. So when you give your own work to other software, again it is a ethical issue comes inside. Okay, so it raises the ethical concern. So that's why the company publishers now they started finding the AI plagiarism also. So what is the primary expectation from everyone? The work should be done by the particular researcher. So we can use these tools as a research assistant to get the idea. For example, in your domain, there are 2 lakh papers in the recent 5 years, recent past, you have got 2 lakh papers. Within a year, you cannot read all the 2 lakh paper, but you can use the tools to filter the papers based on your keyword. So we should draw that boundary line between us and that AI tools, where we should stop the usage of AI, where should we start our own intelligence. So that will create the sense, I think. Otherwise we will lose our own importance, because if everything is done by AI means that PhD degree should be awarded to that software only. We will not be eligible to receive that degree, because we will become unskilled professional if we depend on AI tools for everything. So if the AI is removed, we will become null and void, we cannot do anything. So we should not lead ourselves to such situation. So that is another side of main effect expected in the near future. So many pioneers have mentioned this, particularly Stephen Hawking, famous theoretical physicist. He mentioned this: AI will ruin the human life and it will dominate the human being also very soon. So he has quoted this in many of his talks. At least my suggestion is, it may take a few months time to practice, but we have to grasp the content and we have to try our own content. Whenever it shows the plagiarism, we have to remove the plagiarism through our own effort by writing that statement once again in a different way. Okay, or certain things if you don't want to change means we have to put it under double quotes, and we have to mention the author name by proper citation style. That is how we can do. Otherwise, people are making more money by propagating AI tools and by propagating plagiarism softwares also. Like, what is that? Some companies are selling mosquito coils and other things, but mosquitoes are there everywhere forever. They cannot be eradicated. If they are removed, there are some other side effects, and we will stop purchasing those mosquito coils if there is no mosquito at all. So they will maintain that problem always to sell their softwares. So that is the dark, bitter truth behind every technology. There are commercial people are there, they will do lot of unethical things. Okay, so as a researcher you have to practice in terms of writing more and more. That is the only way, because we have to depend on human beings for this. Hope you have got some
Uh,
idea from me.
yes, sir. Thank you for your explanation, sir. Thank you.
Sir, there is another question in the chat box
Yeah,
asked
ma'am.
by Janani Ramasamy. Is there any AI tool to check plagiarism? This is the question, sir.
Yeah, so many tools are there for plagiarism. Turnitin, Grammarly also has, and there are 5 6 tools are there. But main thing is, when we use the free version, they have the websites. When you approach that websites, it will allow you to check the plagiarism for limited number of words. For example, up to 500 words you can check it for free, or 700 words, or maximum 1000 words. If your thesis has 20,000 words, you have to copy every 1000 words, so 20 times you have to do that separately, if it is a free version. But my suggestion is, those free versions are for a demonstration purpose. When you use these free versions, it will not do that properly. For example, that AI software will not apply all its ability and features to do the plagiarism checking. So to check the plagiarism, AI is not required. In fact, there are plagiarism checking softwares, they are available in internet, but they need no AI technology. AI, where can we use AI technology? Where there is uncertainty of anything, there we can use AI technology. If something are certain, we need not use AI technology. The objective of plagiarism is to check whether the same content is available somewhere else, or the content is copied from somewhere else. This is the question. So for that, regular database related technologies are enough. That is how all the famous plagiarism softwares are working. That all those softwares are not free, they are proprietary softwares. When you purchase and use, or when you subscribe and use, you can utilize that software in a proper way, then it will work properly. Otherwise, it will tolerate something, it will not do that duty properly. So we cannot believe. The free result of free version is not always reliable. For example, I check my paper in a free version of the software, it may show 15% plagiarism. But when I check the same paper in a paid version of the same software, or with a licensed copy, subscription copy, if we check in that software, it will show the original plagiarism. It may be 30% or 35%. So as a beginner, when we may not be able to spend a lot of things for plagiarism software and all. Normally it costs 2 lakh rupees. That a genuine standard plagiarism detection software, sir, start from 1 lakh rupee at least. So we are, as a single researcher, we cannot purchase that much. So we have to approach our college library or university library. That government of India suggested a few softwares to all the universities they are using. There we can pay 100 rupees, 200 rupees, and we can check. And so that is the correct way of checking the plagiarism. Otherwise, if we check in online version, free version with limited facility, it will not reveal proper plagiarism. So we may think our paper is plagiarism free because it shows only 5%, 6%. when we send our paper to the publisher will use standard version of that software. That time it will reveal real plagiarism amount. It may be more than the percentage what you got in the free version. So that is how it is not recommendable. So always go with the paid version of any software, then only you can enjoy all the features. In online trial versions, they will give one or two features only if there are 20 features. That is how all softwares are working. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are so gratitude as you made us to aware of the various softwares used for writing a research paper. Actually, this is a thirsty area in the present world. Thank you so much for your guidance on AI tools, sir. Thank you, sir. Dear participants, it's time for you, and we'll wind up this session till this. Session 2 will be started by 12 p.m. Please join shortly. Be ready to have a fruitful session. Thank you all.
I thank you once again for the opportunity given and for your patient listening. I thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable information that you've given us.
Thank you. இப்ப கேக்குது. Is my voice audible? இப்ப கேக்குது. Is my voice audible? ம். அடுத்து வீடியோ.
Hello.
Sir, good morning, sir. We welcome you, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. You are visible and audible also, sir.
Okay. There is no any crack in voice, no? There is any fumbling or anything?
An active afternoon to all the participants. On behalf of Ayanada Janahiyamal College, I welcome you all for the second session of day 2 of a 2-day national level virtual conference on extended boundaries in English language and literature. Let's begin the session 2. Now I call upon Mrs. R. Muthuselvi, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Ayanada Janahiyamal College, to introduce our resource person. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Kamle Dattatreya, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Kogate Jahalkar College, Ratnagiri, Maharashtra. He is a dedicated academician and researcher with a passion for advancing knowledge in the field of higher education. He contributed 22 research papers in various disciplines such as literary theory, marginal literature, post-colonial literature in UGC care listed and peer-reviewed journals, and wrote number of book reviews, research articles, etc. He participated, mentored, and supervised the students in number of research projects and competitions. He is a tetralingual poet writing in Marathi, Hindi, Kannada, and English. He is also known as a Marathi and Hindi Kajalkar and participated in number of Kajal programs. As a social activist, offers free legal aid service to academicians and teachers. Today, we are proud to have such a renowned personality amongst us. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitations and join with us. Once again, I welcome you, sir.
Listening to valuable words is the state of blissful. We are so eager to listen to your words. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good noon, my dear friends, the esteemed guests and the sorry for interrupt. So, good noon, my dear friends, esteemed guests, the research students, research scholars. Uh, First of all, I am very thankful for this opportunity by the Ayanadar Janki Animal College uh, on the topic of extended bodies in English language and literature. I do not waste time. We will start for the topic. The topic is very much critical and very much interesting. That is theories versus literature. So, friends, I am starting this topic with one my theoretical snapshot. Just I want to clear here. See, it's a very long-lasting debate, and from the number of decades, it is still unanswered and unresolved debate that which one is superior, whether it's a creative writing or a critical writing. From Matthew Arnold to still today, lots of people criticize that which one is superior, whether it's a creative writing is superior or a creative writing is superior. I just give an example that we all know very much familiar about Shakespeare and his works, and even Rohit Shetty and his Golmaal series. You just see if you know that the Shakespeare's the classical tragedies and the famous romantic comedies, that there is lots of pain and pleasure at the end of all these works, and you see that little bit exaggeration. Lots of critics praise for its value addition, or you call this it's a aesthetic increasement of in that works. But you see, within a decade of the 16th century, last decade of the 16th century, from 1589 to 1599, from a common man to Shakespeare reached his position as a owner of a Globe Theatre, which is one of the biggest one of that time in London. And see, at the same time, in the Rohit Shetty, in Golmaal says, we see the various senseless comic things and the exaggeration of very pleasurous things. See, these people, they are very much commercialized about their works, just show exaggerating or the presenting all these pain and pleasure. It is not about the aesthetic thing. It is about how they can make their works more commercially successful. And that's the thing. That's why when we are praising Shakespeare, we are appreciating him as one of the greatest writer of all time in the entire world. But you have to interpret him as one of the a commercial writer of his time. So when we do all these things, it helpful. It only come across with the through the glasses of the uh, uh, literary theories. So I'm just referring this thing because the why the literary theory is so much important in the context of literature also. Friends, we're just going through these concepts here today in our session. This is within 1 hour. That literary theory, literature, the relevance of the contemporary theories in the understanding modern literature, the relationship between both the theories and literature, and also the one very what question which always remain unanswered, that is really literary theory died, and for justifying all these things, some case studies also. I think you see this just a picture that imagine literary theory as a pair of lenses through which you view the text you are reading. Uh, the spect and the text. I think in your childhood also, you visited that in number of jatras and the festival. You have seen the number of color glasses at that time, the yellow color glass or the even the green, blue. So entire that scene or the visual you can see only through that color. That's so these theories also work in that way in a common understanding. So the question arises: what is literary theory? Number of things, number of definitions you can find in number of writers and the number of websites also. Literary theory is that is a different set of ideas which can we use to interpret or to analysis the literary text to get the very meaning of that text. Uh, and these different lenses also allow the critics to consider works of art based on certain assumptions within that school of theory. Some the body of ideas and methods used in the reading and studying of literature. I already referred the concept of lenses, that how we use to these literary perspectives to explain or interpret the text. So these are the different type of approaches. Whether it is needful or not, that is a different question. We will go later to interpret that things also. But see, if you want to make a systematic study, if you want to resolve some readal of literary works, sometime you want to get the very simplest meaning of literary text, we have to use these literary theories. I just give you some. This is a timeline of literary theory. This picture created by the Karen Nelson, from the classical theory to a modern queer theory to the post-colonial theory today. You can see that Marxism, psychoanalytic criticism, new criticism, structuralism, deconstruction, postmodernism, gender studies also, theory response criticism. Now, the question is why we need of literary theory. See, friends, first of all, I want to explain the importance or the need of this literary theory. That the literary theory gives us a clear total horoscope of that entire text. See, literary theory is not, see, literature never exists in a vacuum. It is a product of our contemporary consciousness, where the author is also the part of that society. There are some different grounds where the author get reflected, and his conscience or his conscious and unconscious also reflected through his writing. So his work is nothing but called just a isolated task, but it is also a part of a product of his social and the ideological construction. So on the social grounds, when we see that literature should analyzed on the grounds of the consciousness of gender, class, caste, religion, creed, race, ethnicity, and so on subjects. Yeah, even on the political ground, there are some things like propaganda, agenda, rewriting history, ideology. So nowadays, see, number of writers and their works, either they affirm the ruling class ideology or they challenge the existing ideology. And even on the ground of economical, the literary theory, see, the literature is the expression of writer's personality, and the motive of his writing, the purpose of his writing is also very much important. Earlier, there are people who are writing as for entertainment or as for a passion, but nowadays, writing to become a writer or want to be a good writer, it is not like a passion; it is a profession. So they are earning their livelihoods, their bread and butter, and even they are marketing some values, some ideologies, some propagandizing some thoughts through their writing. And even they're part of some type of a cultural business also. And we all are very much familiar about the concept, Marxist concept of economic determinism, that how literature is also remained as a tool of that ideological state apparatus, in the words of Louis Althusser. Friends, these are some key characteristics of a contemporary literary theories, that how we relate these literary theories to the various disciplines, whether it's a philosophy, sociology, psychology, economics, and political science, and many more other subjects. See, the theories specially focus on the power politics and the identity representation in that text. And see, these theories, they also challenge their traditional narratives and hierarchies, that how the literature has grown up, how it is developed in the course of time, and how it shaped its form, how it shaped the understanding of the readers and the spectators. And even it also emphasized the diversity and inclusivity of all the spheres of human life, in all the parts of human society in that literature. So there is one question: is it that are literary theories incredibly important for studying literature? Whether these literary theories are important for our study? Lots of people say that it's very rigid and very much hard to understand, and some people say that like the literary theory kills the meaning of their works. But actually, these charges were not criticizing, we're not taking the side of any, that the side of critical writing or the creative writing. But see, the literary theory always provides the one analytical framework, a constructed analytical framework to the literary text. Otherwise, we always get a very loose meaning, and we cannot reach to the final tip of that pain, that where that the final meaning gets stands. Now see, if you say get that analytical framework in that, as a, whether it's a Marxist reading of the class conflict or the social conflict, whether there are some other gender issues, there are some environmental issues, there are some political issues. So see that in these analytical frameworks, we get the proper and the a refined meaning of that text. I'm just giving some examples like that. See, without psychological theory, you cannot understand the riddle of Hamlet of Shakespeare. The same thing about the D.H. Lawrence Sons and Lovers. See, if you don't know post-colonial ideology, you cannot interpret the Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. So these theories provides us with that framework to get a proper or the simplest meaning of that text. And so another thing is that it always encourages the critical thinking. See, the same text has the different connotations and the different layers of meanings. Like onion, how you find you peel one layer, and the next time you get the another better layer for that better beautiful layer for the better meaning. Like that, even these literary theories help us to get that different meanings of the same text. It also encourages that critical thinking to think on the same meaning which you earlier felt, and now you are getting the second different type of meaning. So even it reveals the multiple perspectives of the same text has a different perspective. If you get the just take the example of E.M. Foster's Passage to India, you can take the post-colonial meaning, you can get the Marxist meaning, you can get the uh, gender issues. So the same text has a different connotations. And see, these literary theories enhance our understanding of authorial intent and reader response. See, the relationship between the author and reader is very much complex, and the author's intent, author's purpose of writing, author's motive are very much cleared on the only through the lenses of literary theories. Why that, whether that author is propagating his ideology, or whether he is justifying someone's ideology, whether he is uh, challenging someone's ideology, or whether he is criticizing some existing ruling ideology. So you can get all these aspects only on the ground of literary theories. See, the literary theory also highlights the power dynamics and ideologies in the text. See, the text does not exist. I'm making this statement very much clear, that the text does not exist without the power dynamics. Whether these power dynamics on the base of class, on the base of caste, or even on the basis of gender. But without power dynamics, the text does not exist. And see, through that text, the writer always want to spread one ideology, either affirm or either want to challenge, either want to support it. So the literary theory explains or deconstructs that meaning of writer's motive. And see, we all of that like the academicians, it also helps or facilitates of the academic discourse. Friends, when we're talking about the future of literary theory, so there are different aspects are there. uh, the time has arrived that whether it should not be go for a single specialization of that literary approach. So there are a number of interdisciplinary approaches like the digital humanities, that ecofeminism, that cultural materialism. So there are a number of new historicism. So there are a number of interdisciplinary approaches which helpful to get the proper meaning of some modern or some classical texts. Understanding the a global meaning of a world, that in the global and the personal perspectives. See, without decolonizing the literary theory, you cannot get the proper meaning. Nowadays, we are very easy access to the literature of the entire nook and corner of the world, and without familiarizing that their culture, their social background, their political background, we cannot mean that
Excuse
text.
me, sir. Sir, sorry
Yes,
for the interruption. Only the first slide is shown for us. Yeah, now only the slide is shown for us. Thank you, sir.
just wait.
You may proceed,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. Is it visible, ma'am, now?
Yeah, it's visible, sir. You may proceed.
Sorry for, I think this is a technical issue.
Yeah, we could understand, sir. Kindly proceed, sir.
Now, ma'am, is it visible now?
Now it's visible, sir.
Okay. Can I go this way if it makes some interruption? Otherwise, it will create another problem then. Okay,
Just
friends.
continue, sir.
Okay. See, the when you're talking about the future of literature, literary theory, there are number of questions arise. Lots of people criticize it whether it's a death of literary theory or not. I'm just how that refer the earlier points. It's some part of interdisciplinary approaches and the global and post-colonial perspective. Friends, when you're talking about the ethical and political engagement, we need some of the issues of the social justice and environmental issues, and that's why see the literary theory reflects or interprets that literary text or the literary text, where we can find the intended or inhearted meaning of that text, which already designed by that author. And see, I think earlier session already belongs to that AI. So in this post-humanist world where how the technology relates with that literature, it's a part of creative writing and all these things, and that's why the literary theory has a very bright future with the growing technology. See, when you're talking about even some affective and cognitive terms, there are a number of affective theories developed in the course of time. See how the technology going to develop. The human conscience and conscience also getting to be developed, and that's why the the understanding levels of the readers or the spectators is also get changed and developed. So the literary theory has also to change its notion according to that. And see, there are lots of some hybrid genres also emerged in the contemporary world. So we need that literary theory to interpret all these things. Friends, when we are talking about the revisiting some canonical theories, so hermeneutically and phenomenologically, the meaning of the text which exists somewhere in that context. So if you do not aware about that context, so you cannot mean that text. So still today, lots of texts that remained as a riddle or a paradox, that literary paradox. But only through the literary theory, you reached the meaning or reached the answer to that riddles. That's why, friends, the literary theory has a very bright future. And see, I'm talking about the pedagogical innovations which happened in the last 2 decades because of some technology or some revolution in academic disciplines. So all these things also need to be gathered or focused in a single stream of literary theory. And another thing is that we know about the dystopian and the utopian studies. So the literary theory has a very different perspective, or the and the focal point regarding the futurist approaches of the creative writing. So I'm just these are some references of interconnections between the theories. That many theories get overlap. Even when you're talking about the feminism, so means indirectly you're talking about the queer theory. Right now, when you're talking about the gender theories, means you're also talking about the lesbian theories, gay theories. So even friends that when you're talking about the post-colonial and critical literature, post-colonial theory, you're also talking about the critical race theory. You're talking about the Dalit literary theory. So there are different type of regional theories also. Friends, the theories, they have the also the very strong interconnected concepts which directly change the dynamics or the focal point of the literary text, which written by the writer who has a different set of ideologies. There are some writers in contemporary world who are writing about or who are satirizing or criticizing some ideologies, but at the same time they are spreading some stains or some ideologies of the another world or another class who supports their interests. Like we know that the Eurocentric literature is world. We're just here we are referring the literature. Everybody knows that what is literature. The literature is the performance of arts in words, in the words of the Robert Frost. So we're picking up the main core of our presentation. This picture is very much meaning regarding the science of literature. So why what is literature? We generally ask, we say that's written or oral works that express the ideas, emotions, and stories to creative language. Whether that it is a subjective or interpretative, there are different forms of literature are there: drama, fiction, poetry, novel. Hmm? I'm just relating the literature and the theory. The what I found that the key similarities between the literature and theory is that both has the same aim to explain or interpret the word. Both can influence the society and culture, and both rely on the critical analysis and interpretation. See, we know the different type of literary theories, and there are different type of literatures also. The first one is that the literature, see, the first existence always belongs to the literature. Though the literary theory is based on the existence of literature, but it works with parallel to give its lights on its footprints. Friends, these are some key differences also. What is the purpose behind the differences between the theories and literature? Theories are to explain or predict the phenomena, and literature is to express the ideas and emotions. The basis of these things is that whether it's theories have the empirical evidences and logics and some ideological notions also. And in the context of literature, we have some that creativity and imagination. When you're talking about the structure as a differential ground of these theories and literature, theories are very much systematic, they are very much logical, comparing to the literature, it is very much loose, flexible, and narrative driven. The audience of the theories and literature literally it differs in with that interest. The theories always get referred to the researchers, scientists, academics, and literature is referred to their especially the readers, critics, and scholars. I see this picture of the literary work, which how it related to the work of our art is a center to this picture, which related to the one side to the author and one angle to the audience and another angle to the universe. So in all these three contexts, we have to locate our literary work with its meaning. See, literature, the production of literature. I'm talking about the word using the word production of literature. See, it is not like the aesthetic invention or the creation. More than that, the production of literature is the purpose of that writer's motive of writing, where why he want to write. I already told that he has a different aspects from his profession to his sense of revolution also. So the literature and theory, you have to interpret this relationship. So first of all, you have to relate them on the same ground. See, lots of people say that whether theory influence literature or literature influence theory. Friends, see, in the ground of that how the theory influence literature, you know all the different type of theories. I see where that feminism developed in the subject of social science or especially in the sociology. Earlier, it is only related to is the role of woman in society, but later it turned into the literature as a feminist theory. We very much owe to the Virginia Woolf, Simone de Beauvoir, Ellen Shorter, and the many other, especially the French radical critics like Helen Sixer, Julia Kristeva, Lucy Irigaray, Toril Moy, and some American feminist critics like Sandra Gilbert, Susan Guber, and many more others. But after the development of this socialist feminist theory, it reflected in the literature, and then once again the feminist critics, they tried to interpret the literary canon or the new develop the new literary canon of literature. They are rereading the old literary canon in the feminist light. So we get the different meaning of Jane Austen, Austen's writing, Jane Eyre's writing, and many more. I just give example of you very much familiar about the Pride and Prejudice of Jane Austen. In that text, there is one woman like the that named as Mrs. Bennet, who has five daughters, and she is very much eager to get married to her all daughters to the upper class or the rich class. In the 19th century, that woman always represented as a very derogatory caricature or the typical you call this a selfish stereotypical woman. But when you applied that her character, that interpreted her character in the 20th century using the feminist theory, so you can understand the class conscious or the class conflict of that time, where the rising medieval class who want to shift in the upper class, and at that time there is no any other way to shift from one class to the another class. So marriage is the only one thing or the only one step or the only one method. That's why that woman insists her daughters to catch or to get fish getting that upper class male bridegrooms. So the nature of how she is treated and interpreted in the 19th century, at the same time comparing in the 20th century, so only her caricature interpreted on the basis of feminism. So this is the role of theory in number of contexts, that how it uh, get the simplifies the meaning of that text. The same thing is about the literature as a medium of explore the theoretical concepts. We are all much very much aware about the world classics Animal Farm 1984 by George Orwell, and see the political propaganda of the second half of the 20th century. In today's world, also we see that the right wing dominance or the like the America and a number of other nations. I'm not talking the names of that politicians and that even that political parties, but still today you see the one type of right wing political propaganda increased in the entire world, and there are number of writers and their writings, they are producing that type of literature which justifies, which supports the ruling class ideology. And see that literature, that even that dystopian novel of 1984, you see that the language like deep seek or even that the different type of theories which used in that, even the program of Big Boss, on the Colors TV channel, it is also inspired from the 1984. That's so these type of things which already imagined by George Orwell near about 70 80 years ago. So just try to understand that how the theory interpret the or deconstruct the text in a very easy, as a very easy material. See, across this theoretical interpretation, we see the literature also influence the theories. See, the literature provides a real world examples through the theoretical works, and the literature can challenge or expand the existing theories. There are a number of writers who challenge the existing theories and then they develop new ones. We know the Edward Seals Orientalism, even our Indian that Bhalchandra Nemade's nativism also. So they challenged the traditional Eurocentric theoretical perspectives and they developed a new one which is very much supportive to their interest. Now, see, the question is that what is the relationship between theory and literature? Friends, literature and theory have a very dynamic and a reciprocal relationship. While literary theory provides a frameworks for analyzing and interpreting literature, at the same time, literature itself often influences the development of new theories or challenging existing ones. We're just taking some aspects of literature, how it affects the literary theory. See, it also inspires new theoretical frameworks. The best example here, see, the text Things Fall Apart of Chinua Asabe, even the Passage to India by E.M. Foster, then some works of Millionaire Children by Salman Rushdie, V.S. Naipaul, Amitabh Ghosh, and the many more other writers. See, these literary texts appeared first, and then in the 1990s, we come across the new theory of that's in the academic discipline, that's post-colonial theory. So the post-colonial literature existed, emerged first, and then the post-colonial theory later interpreted that, or it tried to bind all these literary texts from the entire world in that same framework of post-colonial theory of the relationship between the colonizer and colonized, or even some the east-west encounter of these literary relationships. And first of all, see, the literature also challenges some existing theories. There are theories like even that, Russian formalism, the other Soviet Russian formalism. So these theories are also challenged by that literature uh, of that time. And see, even there are some cultural shifts in the contemporary time. See, in the last decade or the last century, we've seen the very much political and the ideological chaos, especially in the second half of the 20th century. And in that ground, we see the in each decade one new theory get emerged, and in the second decade we seen the end of that theory and emerge challenging that new one. So even at the last decade, we found that the death of theory also. So there are different theories emerged, different theories get fall down, different theories get rise up once again. So these contrasted happened in the last century, and still it is going on. See, I'm just giving you some examples in the latter phase of my presentation. See, you know that how it introduced the various forms and genres in shaping theory. You know, there's science fiction, climate fiction, the number of new forms. Recently, I've gone through that SMS novel of the Japanese writer. We are very much aware about the because of some digital humanities. We know about the Insta poetry, even that Twitter poetry. So, number of new literary forms are also emerged with the developing technology. And see, the literature also highlights the marginal biases, and it expands the space of the theory. After the first world literature, second world literature, and third world literature, now a new untouched or the unexplored tribal literature emerged. We call it fourth world literature. So these are the things which literature directly relates with the theory. And see, there are some philosophical ideas which directly influence on the theory. So just I referred that the George Orwell's book 1984. So the concept of dystopia also is a part of this type of influence. And see, in the last 30, 40 years, we've gone through that after the Northrop Frye's interpretation of reader response, that how reader response changed in the course of time with the help of theory, with the help of contextual developments. So literature also directly affects on the development of literary theory. So just an example here that we know that the 400 years old literary riddle of Shakespeare, which only resolved after the psychoanalytic theory of Freud and the Lacan. At the same time, you see the Great Gatsby, it also a famous American novel which critique of the American dream. So sometimes it has a very friendly relationship, sometimes very a brotherly relationship, sometimes it is a very reciprocal relationship, sometimes it's a great conflict between the literature and theory. These are the list of some world classics, and you just imagine, suppose if you cannot apply these literary theories to that text, so how can we get the the today's pleasure or today's meaning regarding that text? You just I'm just listed here some important text that James Joyce Ulysses. You just imagine without that psychoanalytic theory or a post-structuralism, how can you relate James Joyce, or it remains as a very absurd text otherwise. It's the same thing about Franz Kafka's The Metamorphoses. uh, and I'm especially referring, I want to refer one text that is Waiting for Godot. I think everyone is very about this world classic Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, very absurd drama. Can you imagine that if you cannot interpret it through the existential lenses, or through the post-structural perspective, or through the deconstruction theory, how can you get the meaning or reach the meaning of that Waiting for Godot? Otherwise, it seems very much absurd, ambiguous, and we cannot get that meaning of Samuel Beckett. The same thing is about the T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. Even that Gabriel Garcia Marquez' 100 Years of Solitude, the magic realism in of that postmodernism and the post-colonial theory. So you cannot get that meaning of that text. Hmm? There are a number of texts are here. That even that E.M. Foster's A Passage to India. So without knowing post-colonial theory, you cannot get the meaning that why these characters behave like that. See, sometimes the meaning uh, lies beyond that context, and that context only get interpreted through the literature. Here is some just list of contemporary literary theories. That's eco-criticism, culture studies. I'm just here's a sample list of literary theories: digital humanities, critical race theory, deconstruction, post-colonial theory, new historicism, spatial literary theory, political ideology, and many more other theories. Friends, see, this is I'm just I'm not going to interpret it more in a deeper level. That is post-colonial theory, how the focus is cultural political relationship between the colonizer and colonized, how that culture post-colonial world is reviving against the cultural imperialism. What are the key concepts, the key figures? Okay, I just give the example of things fall apart by Chinua Achebe. Feminist theory, queer theory, eco-criticism, postmodernism, digital humanities. Now, the most interesting thing is that the AI literary theory, hmm, which is developed recently. I think earlier session is entire session belong to this concept of AI. First of all, I want to share one anecdote. In last 6 months ago, in twice I met one doctor, a lady doctor. Right now, she's working in a very renowned hospital in Mumbai. We met twice in a literary festivals and poetry gatherings. She sent me one her poetic anthology and told me, "Sir, can you write a preface to this my poetic anthology?" Uh, Initially, I rejected, but later she convinced me to, "Sir, please, you please go for this anthology, and I want your preface." So when I gone through that all poems, I found, see, not a single poem. I personally, as a poet, I understand what are the notion of that poetry, but I feel that a single poem hasn't touched my emotion. I gone through the in-depth analysis of all that poems, and I found that all that poems, they have the same phenomena, same thoughts, using the same phrases and the same imagery and the symbolic patterns, the same structure of writing. So when I felt very much doubtful, that I gone through the AI and I checked it. Even I am right now, I am using the DeepSeek. I asked near about more than 50, 60 questions to that AI, that DeepSeek, about AI literary theory. See, she picked all that poems using that AI. They are all that poems are the AI creations, and she just changed some construction of that poems, and now she is presenting herself as a poet using that AI poems. So whether, see, the question is different whether it is ethically right or wrong. That is not the issue. The issue is that if that human emotions or the human consciousness is referred through the AI, how can we get that aesthetic pleasure? Or how can we interpret our the social existence or the emotional existence in our existing world? So this AI literary theory I applied to some sample of poems, and what I found, that, see, that AI based literature, there are lots of people now using the AI for the different pedagogical works or the research works. But see, when you're using it for creative works, you are using AI for writing a poem. You are guiding him, or you are giving list of some symbols, some situations, some context, and you expecting some poem through AI. So how can it fulfills your aesthetic pleasure? So what I found, that I'm interpreting here, that it is just, see, I use some I scanned some poems through that AI, and so AI is useful in the context of linguistic analysis, especially in linguistic analysis. So you can get the different set of rhyme schemes and the styles, or the scansion elements on these metaphors, symbols, figures of speech, anything. All these things you can easily interpret through the AI. And see, AI as a creator of literature, so AI has the same structure, has the same phenomena. I do not found any much which can easily appeal to you as a literary text. But it has some a common notion to convince you that yes, this is a nature poem, this is a love poem, this is a political satirical poem. So there are people, they are using the AI in this context. Now the question arises: what is the theoretical implications of AI in literature? So suppose, see, we are applying the AI literary theory, literary theory to the text. So what we found in that text, that is the most important thing. Now see, we the literary production is does not exist in a isolated world. The writer has that his or her own legacy. They relate themselves to one literary canon, and that's why somewhere they get influenced by some their ancestors or some that their traditions. So a set of you call symbols and imagery, a set of style, even some allusions are there, some mythological references are there. So all these things AI easily pickups. How that we are related to that plagiarism, whenever the plagiarism test of some research papers, in that same context, see, AI picks all these things, allusions, references, and you can whether these, we know that the concept of intertextuality in the postmodernism. So AI easily interpret that intertextual sense. So friends, that in these contexts AI is useful, but it also kills the aesthetic sense, aesthetic creativity of the literature, which is very heart of its existence. And see, what is about the ethical and philosophical questions? uh, See, uh, we created AI, so it depends on us that how we use it in our day-to-day life. Lots of people are there who are rejecting the use of AI in the creative writing. There are some people they are asking for take the help of AI for creative writing, and even why not that if AI supports us or to reach us, whether we are making copy of some idea or imagery through symbols from any other writers, some situations in the drama or some characters in the novel, they easily relate with the other characters of the other writer of the any different type of nation. So these things also can easily catch up or easily relate, and AI help to create a single web of literary world. See, we don't know when we are writing a drama or some new concept in a poetry. So the same thing is used earlier somewhere. So when AI making the entire world as a single web of literature, so suppose a Norway or a Swedish writer, suppose a Uruguayan writer, or some suppose some New Zealand Maori writer, or some Indian Dalit writer, and they are writing one subject, or even some African American Negro writer. So they have suppose the same theme of that resistance. So the common imagery and the common symbolism, the AI picks up easily, and you can easily relate that how that my poem, the theme of my poem is easily also relate to that person in his context and his work. Other thing is that whether that AI has a future of literary studies. Of course, see, if we are accepting, if we are living with that AI, and we are going with the AI in the future, so literacy will also get uh, influenced by the AI, whether we wish it or we deny it. The same thing is about what about the speculative and metafictional literature. See, the AI is very much useful in these contexts where it helps us to understand the very much meta narratives in the world. See, we all know that the Claude Lévi-Strauss and his theory of that entire concept of narratives, world narratives, grand narratives, or the meta narratives. So somewhere that author and his work locate himself or herself in that literary world or literary canon. So AI picks him or locates him easily in that context, that in which category, in which literary canon, or in which tradition he belongs. That also turn helpful. And what are the challenges and the critics of AI literary theory? Still, it is in a very budding stage, so we can't understand what will be its future and what will be its propagations and what will be its influence or the impact. But I'm very much sure about if it depends on the use of that person, how he is using it, like the knife, how it used to save the life or how to kill the person. So everything depends on the use of human notion. The future directions of the AI literary theory is very much. I think it is a very much a new critical theory, but it is very much useful to interpret the new literary writings, because there are lots of writing. New literature is emerging in a very huge numbers. So how can you interpret them? So it is not. It is totally impossible for us. But AI helps us to shortlist or the negotiate all these literary texts in the new literary world. Friends, this is the most important thing that we know. The Nobel laureate of last year, that Han Kang, a South Korean writer. I'm just taking her as a case study of this presentation, that how she works. Uh, I gone through her 4 novels in the last 6 months. It's Vegetarian, Human Acts, Greek Lessons, and the White Book. See, these are the theories which I applied to her text, and I tried to found or try to reach the the simplest meaning of her text. That's feminist theory, psychology theory, postcolonial theory, existential theory, trauma theory, and the other narratology, cultural criticism. See, this is a Booker Prize winning novel that Han Kang is especially known for. This novel, that's the Vegetarian. Uh, this is her masterpiece. This novel is very much interesting, is very much revolutionary in the context of narrative structure or narratology. The novel is written in the three chapters, and each chapter narrated by the three different characters. See, we cannot have the any voice or the opinion of the protagonist in the entire novel. We try to understand, we come across the character of that protagonist through the perspective of these three people. One is her husband, one is her brother-in-law, and one is her sister. So uh, the perspective of these three people who only understand her character. One in one of her morning, she gone through the different type of set of nightmares, and the suddenly realized that she want to become a vegetarian. And see, when she's going to against the social norms of her time in the Korean society, how the society, even through her parents, her father and her mother, her husband, everyone tries to convince her or restrict her to not to go beyond the societal frameworks or the societal structure of Korean society, and how she suffers physically and psychologically. That is the main thing. But see, when you're talking about the feminist perspective, here she is not interpreting the patriarchal world of uh, that Korean society, but at the same time, she is want to express the liberation of her soul, where she also want to get free from that world. So it's not it's a two-way conflict. One is from the outside, one is from the inside. And see, psychologically at the end, she get admitted in the mental hospital, and she knows that she is not a mental, but the society turns her as a mental, because it depends on that she's not going or she's not following the customs and the conventions of her world. That's why where the person goes against her existing world, that how they remains isolated, and how they remains very their existence totally get aloof from that existential world. We are even very much familiar about the trauma theory of Korean Civil War, and the Korean South Korea and North Korea number of wars, how they fought against that capitalist world, that is Republican world, and the Soviet Marxist world. So how that the Korean political conflict, social conflict, economic conflict, they also involved in her writings. See, these two novels, Human Acts and the White Book. The Human Acts is a novel based on that uh, Guangzhou uprising of the 1980s, the very bad one civil war in the Korean history, that how the mass genocide or the mass atrocity happened by their own people in their own world. So these texts reflects that trauma, that the the love for, or the passion for to get freedom. At the same time, the book is the White Book, which also represents the post World War Second world society, the World War Second traumas, that the mass genocide, even some that Nazism, and see the psychological suffering, the psychological impact of these calamities, what happened in their life. So the writer is not isolated from that world. She's not writing about the common things. She the pain of the entire world, which directly affected, and now the dream turned into a nightmare because of their existence. Especially that's why World War Second, that Korean Civil War, these things repeatedly appears in her writings through even her conscious and unconscious level, through her dreams, nightmares, some type of psychological hallucinations, some split personality disorder experiments. So the writer here represents all these things. And see, outwardly, when you try to read these things, you find that these books are the out of the context. These books are non-context. These books are beyond our world of experience. But when you try to interpret these texts in the light of our existing leading literary theories as feminism, psychological criticism, post-colonialism, existentialism, you directly relate these texts. That yes, when you're talking about the civil war of Gangsa uprising in Korea, at the same time we have also experienced that emergency of 1980s. At the same time, when you're talking about the World War II, we're also talking about the Indian War of Independence. So you can easily relate that writings of Han Kang. So see, there are some texts we cannot get meaning without theory. I even remember that the text like Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. Lots of in early decades of 20th century, lots of critics criticized that text very much obscure, very much vulgar, and it's made many more very wrong comments. But still, now today, we are using or referring as a very much a masterpiece of psychological theory. A book we get that relation, that mother and son relationship, and that riddle only resolved by the psychological theory of Jacques Lacan. So just try to understand that. See, we if we feel that literary theory is against literature, so you cannot groom ourselves easily. If you feel that literary theory is a helping tool, it is you just call like I'm using just a specs to a person, so you can see more comfortably and more accurately, like that it feels more comfortable. So don't go in the context of conflict between the literary theory and literature. It is still unresolved today. Friends, the thing is that see, I'm just referring to both these two notions, that the critic theory is the artist's enemy, for it seeks to cage the wild bird of creativity in the narrow bars of analysis. So lots of people criticize that criticism is a very negative thing. It minimizes the meaning of the text. It kills its soul of the that literary text, and it removes that aesthetic pleasure or aesthetic sense beauty of that text. That's why lots of people avoid criticism. But against at the same time, see whether that literature is, if suppose literature is the question, then theory is the answer. But the best questions defy answers. So at the same time, the best answers provoke new questions. So they are complementary to each other. They should work together in a parallel manner, so they can support easily. So the literature fosters that literary theory, and literary theory creates one good habitat to groom or to develop that literature. So friends, I'm just interpreting this thing that theory without literature is empty. It's a very like a, you could just consider a empty pot, and literature without theory is a blind. Okay, so it is made, it is dependence on each other. Hmm? Friends, see how that great literature nurtures profound criticism and theory. Just as fertile soil cultivates vibrant life, in turn, enlightened theory creates a sanctuary where the finest literature can flourish, and each sustaining the other in an eternal dance of creation and understanding. So, friends, see, they both can walk together, they both can create a opposite, but healthy habitat or progressive environment where both can flourish with the help of each other. In conclusion, what I say that the significance of literary theory is in understanding the modern literature. I personally feel as a critic that the literary theory is very much useful in today's world, when there is the literary writing or the writers write, the purpose of writing is not remained as a uh, part of fashion. The writers are also today, they are very commercially propagated writers. There are some writers who are the propaganda writers. There are some writers who are only writing for that money and the materialistic benefits. So when the writers change their motives and the purpose in the course of time, then how we can relate our belief on them, that whatever they are explaining, it is only, it is not a part of spreading of ideology, or more than that. म्हणजे फक्त, sorry, we're just interpreting their ideological interpretation. So I think that the literature is very much important in today's world, where we, it helps us to understand entire the skeleton structure of the literature. The role of addressing social and cultural environmental issues, the contemporary some existential issues are there, that's like environmental issues, climate issues, some social caste, class and gender based issues. So these issues are also the core of our writing, and literature helps us to open all these things and to create the open forum of discussion for to the readers or to understand the readers. See, at the end, see, both literature and theory should walk through the same pair of shoes. Then and then we can only enjoy the literature with the help of theory. If we caught in that web of conflict of that, whether creative writing is superior or the critical writing is superior, whether theory is superior, whether the literature is superior, which one is more important. So we only caught in that web of dark hole. We cannot get anything in that thing. So if we use in both supportive manner, surely we get more beneficial rather than that debate. So I'm not closing that debate. I'm still passing a debate to the future generations. See, friends, in the end, theory and literature are two sides of the same coin. One seeks to understand and the other to express, but both are driven by the same hunger for meaning. We use the literature to understand human life. We use the literature to mean the human's heart. We read the literature or we mean the literature to enjoy the beauty of life. So at the same time, using see, the if literature is a food for our stomach, is literature is food for our life, then the theory is you just consider the spoon or the some spices when we are eating it. Thank you, friends.
Thank you for your insightful and thought-provoking lecture, sir. Dear participants, the platform is for you. If you have any questions, you may ask now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, here is my concern that your lecture is very insightful about the ideas you have put forth about criticism and theory. But the main concern in today's context is that students are not eager to learn theory and they are very much captivated to the social media platforms like WhatsApp and other medias. They are unaware of about the beauty of aesthetic world, that is literature and criticism. So how to bring the students to the mainstream, that is humanistic concern that we must inculcate into the students. That is my concern, sir. Please.
Nice question, sir.
Thank you,
The
sir.
word I use from your question, that is a humanity concern, and the core of my presentation is that humanity concern is the very core to the all theoretical literary theories, especially. So unless if we all have a paper of literary criticism, literary theory in graduation, post graduation courses, but the thing is that the students now see prima facie it is the literary theory is not a very straight subject. It belongs to the very, it is an interdisciplinary subject. It relates to the all social science subjects. So the students feel that just when they are reading the poem, they get the meaning, they enjoy the that the emotions of that poem, but they do not go beyond that thing. And the literacy, the poem has a say number of levels of meanings, but
Yes.
unless we do not relate the theory to that poem, we do not get that meanings. But it is depends on that that teacher of that teacher. It depends on the even the writer also. If the writer is appreciating his criticism of his own writings, then students also get endorsed with that comments. Yes, this writer is taking his own criticism positively. So whether these things are relevant to in our modern world or not, so student can easily get match up with that things. But I think it is a very core role of teacher that he brings that students to the close to the literary theory, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. It's a
Yes, sir.
wonderful session about literary theory, sir. I would like to ask a question. In what way literary theory can contribute in writing, sir? because mostly we use literary theories for analyzing a text. So in a way, it can influence the writing process also. If so, can you give some examples?
Sir, I'm a tetralingual poet. I'm writing a poems, but as a critic, when I write my poems, especially on the Dalit issues and the marginal people, uh, I try to introspect myself that how these imageries or these symbols get interpreted by the readers in their context. See what happened. The writer has very much convinced himself or herself that what they are writing, they are very much fulfilling their thoughts and emotions or expressing it. But the thing is that their ideology is serving to someone, whether it's their interest or their interest of some others people. But the critical writing gives us the notion that you can judge your own work, that how it is useful to the readers or not. And sometimes, see, we know all about the metaphysical poetry, that the most difficult poem is good poem, how it's a common notion. But nowadays, if suppose a writer, he is suppose very much aware about the critical theories, there are especially I just give you the example of post-colonial theory. Sir, see, the first generation of post-colonial writers, they are very much uh, headed towards the Eurocentric perspectives. And now the second and third generation writers who are living in Canada, America, and Europe, I'm just talking about the second and third generation. Means first generation writers like Rushdie and the other writers, second generation writers like Jhumpa Lahiri, Kiran Desai, and the other writers. Now they are not. They are little bit Eurocentric. They are not very much critical to the Eurocentric perspectives, because now they are slowly assimilating themselves in the Western world. That's why now they are indirectly justifying their claims of Eurocentric assimilation. And so, see, this is the progress and the impact of theory. So I'm not, it is not, it is not my concern that whether that is right or wrong. But I personally feel that the theory directly influenced the good writer, that in which way he should make the progress, and in which way he should narrate or drive his writing style. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your crystal and clear explanation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Dear participants, now we'll conclude this session. Have a satisfactory lunch and join with us by 3:40 p.m. Session 3 will be sharply started by 4 p.m. Thank you all.